All right, let's dive into a story today that feels both classic and, honestly, super relevant right now. It's all about one family, two mother-in-law with very different ideas, and a whole lot of drama that puts modern life and traditional values on a collision course. And that really gets us to the heart of it, doesn't it? What makes a person valuable? Is it their sophisticated, city slicker lifestyle? Or is it something deeper, something rooted in traditional values? Well, this family is about to find out the hard way. So, where does all this begin? As you might guess, it starts with two matriarchs who could not be more different in what they want for their sons. We've got Sunita, the modernist, and her sister-in-law Malti, the traditionalist. Okay, let's break this down because it's fascinating. On one side, you have Sunita. For her, it's all about image. She wants daughters-in-law who are fashionable, who go to parties, who project wealth and status. She thinks city girls are sophisticated and, well, that village girls are just uncivilized. But then you have Malti. She's looking for the exact opposite. She values humility, good character, and believes that true virtue is found in the village. It's a total clash of worldviews. And so, the great search for brides is on. And of course, they look in completely different worlds. Sunita's heading up high society parties in the city, while Malti goes back to her village to find what she's looking for. And guess what? They both find exactly what they wanted, which leads to one massive, four-way wedding. And this is where we get the initial scorecard, right? It's all about first impressions. The modern brides, Rita and Shania, show up dripping in designer clothes and bringing a massive dowry. We're talking a car, an AC, tons of cash. For Sunita, this is a huge win, a status symbol. She is beaming. Meanwhile, the traditional brides, Pushpa and Manvi, they arrive with just a couple pairs of clothes. And for Malti, that initial pride she had, it just evaporates into shame. And you can just feel the regret in this quote from Malti. The social pressure hits her, and it hits her hard. She sees the mountain of stuff her sister-in-law got, this incredible haul, and she immediately thinks she's made a terrible, terrible mistake. Okay, so the wedding is over, and now comes the real test. Everyday life. This is where those first impressions, the ones based on money and clothes, start to completely fall apart, revealing who these women really are. So Sunita's sons and their new brides, they jet off to Switzerland, and their trip is, for all intents and purposes, a performance. It's all about posting photos for social media, looking glamorous, and showing the world this perfect, luxurious life. And then you have Malti's sons and their brides. Their post-wedding trip could not be more different. They go on a sacred pilgrimage. It's not about showing off, it's about family, it's about faith, it's about duty. They actually spend their time serving their in-laws. Just, wow. Back at home, the divide gets even wider. When it's time to help out with household chores, the modern brides flat out refuse to go into the kitchen. And the reason? Get this. They don't want to mess up their pricey manicures. You know, it's not just that they avoid the work, they openly make fun of the village brides for doing it. They throw out these nasty comments saying Pushpa and Manvi must have gotten maid training from their parents. Then they just walk away to go sit in the air-conditioned room. So all of this tension is just simmering under the surface, and it's about to boil over at the Madhkai, which is this big traditional ceremony where the new brides are officially introduced to the community. Everyone's watching, and everyone's got an opinion. And the visual difference is just stunning. The modern brides walk in wearing designer gowns. One is backless, another is a ball gown with very subtle makeup. Then you have the traditional brides in these gorgeous but simple Banarasi saris, just covered from head to toe in gold. Sunita must be thinking her daughters-in-law are about to steal the show. But that is not what happens. The guests are actually kind of shocked. They start whispering that the modern brides look like they're dressed for a party, not a formal family event, and you can just feel the room turn against them. And at the very same time, everyone is just showering Pushpa and Manvi with praise. They love their traditional look, of course, but it's more than that. They love their respectful behavior, how they touch the elders' feet for blessings. They completely win over the entire community. Look, getting the approval of your community is one thing. But the family is about to get hit with a real crisis, the kind that strips away all the nonsense and shows you who people really are when the chips are down. So the family business takes a massive financial hit. It's bad. The husbands are panicking, thinking they could lose everything. And how do the brides react? Well, Rita and Shania don't seem to care, or even notice. They just keep on shopping. But Pushpa and Manvi, they immediately go into crisis mode, saving every single rupee they can from the household budget to help out. And then we get this incredible moment. After weeks of saving and sacrificing, Pushpa and Manvi come forward with 4 lakh rupees. It's a huge amount of money they managed to scrape together just by being incredibly frugal. But here's the real kicker. They don't give the money to Malti, their own mother-in-law. No, they walk right up to Sunita, the woman who has done nothing but look down on them, and they offer her the money to save the family. It's just an unbelievable act of loyalty. As you can imagine, that one selfless act just shatters everything everyone thought they knew, and it leads to this really powerful, emotional conclusion. Humbled and probably pretty overwhelmed, Sunita finally sees the truth. She tearfully apologizes to them, realizing that their true value was never about their clothes or their background, but about their incredible character. So, what's the ultimate lesson here? It's like in the end, it wasn't the fancy dowry or the designer labels that mattered. It was sensibility, it was sacrifice, and it was character. And those are things money just can't buy. This story gives us a pretty clear answer for when a crisis hits. But it leaves us with a bigger question for our own lives, doesn't it? When things are just normal, when the pressure's off, how do we remember to look past the surface and see the person underneath? Something to think about.